Whether you're looking for a Chevy car, truck, or SUV, go see my friends at Apple Chevy in Tinley Park. With over 500 new and used vehicles in stock, they have what you're looking for, and at the lowest price possible. Go to applechevy.com. The other big story happening today, I'm going to make it now a Trump-free zone. You're welcome. But there's some good crackpottery happening here. We got the lady, the clerk down in Kentucky.
Yeah, Roane County.
She is a defiant county clerk. I never think of county clerks as particularly defiant people. I don't. No. I don't. I just, county clerks seems like, there's a lot of filing that goes on, a lot of stamping.
A lot of paperwork, right? Kind of, the stuff that you get a lot of, you never hear much fanfare about the county clerk.
Right. It's always that double stamp, too, where they got to...
Yeah, right.
Like that.
Right.
It's always that.
And it's kind of almost hurts when you hear it. You're like, whoa,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I get it. So through her lawyer, the clerk, Kim Davis of Rowan County, no relation, said that she would not agree to allow the licenses to be issued under her authority as county clerk, right? Mm-hmm.
She wasn't going to be any part of the gay marriage certificates.
Right. So then what did then a federal judge goes, well, now, what we have here, the young lady apparently is a failure to communicate, and y'all going to have to spend the rest of your life in jail until such time as you'd be willing to do that, or otherwise relinquish your authorities as the county clerk down here. What time am I? Where's my bourbon?
I love how you make all Southern people kind of sound like Boss Hogg from the Dukes of Hazzard.
It's a little bit of Foghorn and Leghorn, too. I'm not sure. I make everybody sound like something. Someone's got to do it. The court cannot condone the willful disobedience of its lawfully issued order. If you give people to follow, that's potentially going to cause problems. Wow, we could have chaos in this country if that happened.
Well... Yeah.
So they threw her in jail. Now
she's in jail.
Yeah, she's in jail. Yeah. Now again, you gotta remember that now this is a woman who has just made a recent conversion to this. Made a recent conversion to this brand of Christianity that in which she believes that God is speaking to her and telling her directly not to issue marriage licenses to gay and lesbian couples. Now she did apparently accidentally, now this is true, this is just to confirm today, she did issue a license accidentally to a transgender person, transgender couple.
Whoops.
Yeah.
But she didn't know. Is that the story, that she didn't know at the time, or she wouldn't have done it?
Yes, in Moorhead, Kentucky, which apparently is well named. A transgender man and his wife stepped forward Saturday with paperwork showing that Kim Davis apparently had issued them a marriage license in February, even though she has blocked the forms of same-sex couples over the past 2 months. It does appear that, like many of us, and anybody who's watched I Am Kate, the Kentucky clerk Kim Davis was confused by what she saw there and wasn't sure what. Well, I'm just going to have to issue your license now, then, ain't I? I'm not quite sure if that's what I'm looking at. You sure are pretty. You are a handsome lady with very large and hairy hands.
Well, she obviously didn't know.
Right.
Right? Or she might have made a big deal about it.
Right. So now we go back to this. And, she's sitting there. She's just rotting away in a jail cell.
Well, I don't know about rotting away, but she just got in today, and she doesn't look happy.
You think she's meeting, like Orange is the New Black, she's meeting like some crazy eyes in there right now? Baby, you gonna be mine. You gonna be mine. Now here we go. Here's where this is where the 2016 presidential campaign kicks into high gear.
Yeah, it's all over this.
Republican presidential candidates have rallied around the clerk. Senator Rand Paul says the mood sets a bad precedent. He says, I think it's absurd to put someone in jail for exercising their religious liberty. Well, now that's not what she's doing. She can exercise religious liberty somewhere else. She is denying otherwise. You can't impede on somebody else's liberty in the name of your own religion.
Well, she's not doing her job, which is following the laws in an elected position, and this is the law of the land per the Supreme Court.
And now, Mike Huckabee has jumped in on this. Kim Davis in federal custody removes all doubts about the criminalization of Christianity in this country. We must defend religious liberty. # religious liberty. That's what he tweeted, and he's going down there right now to be one with her.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Jindal is saying that I don't think anyone should have to choose between following their conscience and religious beliefs and giving up their job and facing financial sanctions. I think it's wrong to force Christian individuals or business owners. But the thing, she wasn't allowing her office to do it either. See, 5 of the 6 clerks in her office said, listen, Clerk Davis, if you don't want to do it, we're assistant clerks, we can do it. We got the Stamper deal here. We can do it.
So it wasn't her personal liberty. She was using it to impact the entire office of the clerk there in Roane County.
Mm-hmm.
Her beliefs.
See, now what the problem here is, and I'd just like to ask this of Mr. Jindal. Oh, by the Scott Walker weighed in too.
Oh, he had something to say?
Yes, he said, in the end, this is a balance we got to have in America between the laws that are out there, but ultimately ensuring that the Constitution is upheld.
Okay.
And I read that the Constitution is very clear that people have freedom of religion. So he's like, yeah, you do. But the people who are applying for the marriage license, which is now legal to get, it is now, the Supreme Court has affirmed it is now legal for them to get. Their right to get that license is being infringed upon because of this woman's religious beliefs. It has nothing to do. It's the opposite. It's not about her freedom of religion. She can do whatever she wants. She can believe whatever she wants. Right. But let me ask you this. I ask you this, Scott Walker. I ask you this, Bobby Jindal. I ask you this, Mike Huckabee. I ask you this. If this woman were a Muslim and saying that she doesn't believe in this because her religion tells her not to do it, would they be rushing to her defense?
Yeah, you kind of think not, right? It doesn't.
I know not.
It's not the case study that they'd want, and it becomes a rallying point for this election.
She believes in Sharia law, not the law of the United States, and therefore, because of Sharia law, she's not going to she's not going to sign or to stamp these marriage applications. If she said that as opposed to her Christian beliefs, it's the same principle, is it not?
Your own religious belief, right?
Right. There is not a chance in hell, and I use that term here judiciously, that these guys would be up there saying the same thing. They wouldn't. 312-981-7200. Your thoughts on this?
I don't understand. Where does this all end? It's much like the Trump candidacy. I don't really understand where it ends. And so with this whole thing, she's been ordered to stay in jail. She's in jail now until she's willing to change her mind, which you can't really imagine is going to happen.
Well, right. But this isn't...
And that's what her own lawyer says. She's been ordered to stay there until she's willing to change her mind or willing to change her conscience about what that belief is.
That's not true, though.
That's what her lawyer's saying.
If she's willing to let the other people in her office do that job, then they'll let her out. That's the truth. This isn't about conscience. This isn't about the Inquisitions. This isn't about trying to get somebody to give up their religious beliefs. Her religious beliefs are her religious beliefs. But she has a job to do, and she took an oath of office. She undoubtedly put her hand on a Bible for it.
And what about Nathan Davis? Does he have to do it too? Her son who's in the same office?
Right.
I mean, is this Chicago?
And by the way, again, this is a recent conversion. This is not a long-held belief on her. I mean, not that really matters. But I think in some ways, I think that it must be germane in this in some way, right? Because if it were a long-held belief, you'd stop and you'd go, oh, all right, well, this is the way she's always been. She just converted like 2 years ago to this. After being herself, she's been divorced twice and married 3 times, twice to the same guy. So it's not as though you're like, oh, well, she's upholding the sanctity of marriage. That'd be like me telling gay people they can't get married.
I still would love it to see you being the county clerk for a day, pulling everybody aside.
Listen, pal, I want you to take everything you own, and I want you to put half of everything you own on the front lawn and then set it on fire. Do that, actually, before you get married, because it's the same thing.
Yeah, you wouldn't be stamping a lot of these marriage licenses either. You wouldn't do that cha-ching thing.
No, I wouldn't.
You'd be like, no, I'm not
no. I'm look at you two. You two are never going to make it. I can tell. I'm not doing it. All right. Yeah, it's not and that's my religion. It would be my religion telling me to do that. All right, we go to the phones here. 312-981-7200. It's the Rokon Show with Anna DeBlantis. We're talking about the county clerk in Kentucky who's now sitting in jail, rotting in a jail cell.
Rotting. She's been there for like 2 hours. And I think she'll get out pretty soon.
That would be my guess, too. Because she's refusing to issue marriage licenses to gay people based on her religious beliefs. How did that happen? Those are the questions. All right. 312-981-7200. Here is Father Mike. It says here, Father, welcome aboard, sir.
Hey, good afternoon. I think both sides will do this kind of thing. Look at the other side of the political spectrum. You've got the sanctuary cities, and people who agree with that are in great admiration of these cities who stand up and refuse to enforce federal law. Or I think didn't some of the states who legalized marijuana, wasn't that against federal law for a while maybe? And again, oh boy, they're doing great. They're standing up. So, both sides will do that, and in this case, it's the other side, which I would be on, that, hey, this woman's taking a stand. So I think it's wrong to just say that, to point out that she's, we've got to follow law and order. But the same people who say that wouldn't say that.
I happen to agree with it across the board. So I would like to be on record. I happen not to believe in sanctuary cities. I think that the law is the law, and that if you are a public official, you take an oath to uphold the law of the state of Kentucky and the United States of America. And she's not doing it.
I get that side of it. And she, as far as the people under her, but are they? I'm not keeping up with this case that much. If she is, I can see how, if in conscience, if she is in charge of that office, she might just say, well, no, I can't order, have the people who are under my authority do something that I think is inherently wrong, evil. But I'm not sure. Is she in charge of that office?
Yeah, that's why they're not doing it. That's why. Because the other 5 of the 6. Now, again, we go back to this, Father. 5 of the 6 clerks, under clerks or associate clerks in the office are saying, what? The 6th is not, because it's her son from her first and third marriage.
My point is, though, if she thinks this is inherently something wrong, which I take her at her word that she does, that she's then not willing to say, okay, because that would be hypocritical to say, okay, I think there's a terribly wrong thing, you go do it for me. Well, I'm taking her weird. I think the two of you are kind of.
I'm going to ask her this. Oh, I totally am.
But I'm kind of taking her at her word for sincerity.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If this were a Muslim saying that I won't do this because of Sharia law, would you agree with it?
No, probably not. I'm not even sure I agree with, boy, I don't know the ins and outs of this, how she even, I thought she'd be fired by someone, but obviously that can't happen.
No, she's an elected official.
No, but I'm glad you brought up the Muslim thing, because what would happen, the other side of the political spectrum would be all coming to the defense of the Muslims.
Oh, I doubt it. I doubt it. Let me tell you something. I'm never going to pretend to.
Come on.
Oh, no. I mean, are you?
It doesn't work. I've tried that before.
But, all right, but don't you think, but I'm going to tell you how I feel. Whether they did or they did, I think it's pretty perilous business to get into there. But if somebody who would be backing Sharia law, but the thing is, wouldn't you be opposed? I would be opposed to that. So why doesn't that principle hold for you?
Well, I'm not going to back all of Sharia law, but if it was a Muslim who on this issue, because I agree with them on this issue, I would say, oh, well, good for them. They're taking a stand on something where I am in agreement with them.
I don't think. You know what? I'm going to tell you right now, Mike, I don't think you would. Oh, Mike. Oh, Father Mike. Oh, Father Mike. I don't think you would.
This is an aside. You know how long I've been listening to your show? It's sad. I've been listening to you for 20 years or so.
Oh, no.
That is not a good thing, is it?
It is not a good, no, it is, no, it makes us, you know what the problem with that, Mike, is it makes us both too old. That's the problem. We look at it.
Seriously, since the mid-90s, right? Mid-90s, is that when you got on WLS? Yeah.
Yeah, early 90s, actually. I was on the LS for 25 yeyears before I forgot to still pay me.
Now we both need help.
Yeah. Father, thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Father.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. Okay, there you go. There you go. Father Mike had the exact explanation that I was looking for, sort of, I guess. I don't know.